Christmas is coming, and so are the drones. Congress steps in. A flying dog brings kids to aviation, a chance for you to fly with Scooby-Doo, and honors long overdue for civilian pilots. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
As far as the verb camera goes, it's the solution. We've used every other action camera and we've thrown them all away or given them away because now we have 5 verbs and they're all over our airplanes and we wouldn't use anything else.
I don't think we can rely on the hobbyists here to take the time that modelers have always taken because they see themselves in the aviation space. These are people who are enjoying toys.
A VFR aircraft traveling 100 knots, right on up to our airlines traveling 350 knots and everything in between. You're moving pretty fast, and that's awful small, and it's very hard to see it, and I don't want to run into one.
And neither do we, Congressman, neither do we. Small unmanned aerial systems in our airspace have now got the attention of Congress. Hello everyone, welcome to AOPA Live this week. I'm Tom Haynes. This week, a hearing before the House Aviation Subcommittee on Drones. Representative Rick Larson of Washington, who's also a pilot and AOPA member, asked for the hearing.
We've looked at unmanned aircraft systems, or UAS, twice earlier this year, but last week's report of numerous near collisions between UAS and manned aircraft are a stark reminder that the FAA must be prepared to ensure UAS operations are safe. However, there's no doubt there are some near-term challenges. For example, the FAA says it receives about 25 reports each month from pilots who have seen unmanned aircraft or model aircraft operating near their aircraft, including some near collisions. So while our near collision headlines reflect undeniable challenges that must be addressed, we have to keep moving forward to ensure progress and competitiveness. But let's be clear, integration of UAS must never come at the expense of safety.
AOPA laid out its position before Congress. Commercial unmanned aircraft systems should be certified using a standard airworthiness certificate. Drones should be flown by an FAA-approved pilot or operator, and they should operate in compliance with current operating rules and airspace requirements, including having the ability to sense and avoid other aircraft. Well, that's for commercial drones, but what about recreational drones? Think about this. There are going to be a lot of quadcopters unwrapped this Christmas.
I'm also worried about the cat being out of the bag. I've got a quadcopter on my Christmas list, as I suspect quite a few people do. So when there are too many of these out here capable of going beyond a couple of hundred feet, but actually being able to go up to 6,000 feet, we've got a problem, and our failure to regulate them, we're going to have a genie out of the bottle issue.
So what's to be done about that? Well, as you heard at the top of the show, we don't think that hobbyists are going to be as responsible as RC modelers on where and how they fly. Education is one thing, including making sure that every quadcopter comes with information on safe operations. And then there's the stick. AOPA told Congress there should be stiff penalties for reckless drone operations. Canada is ahead of the U.S. in regulating small unmanned aerial systems. So we asked the president of our sister organization, the Canadian Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, how it's going up north.
The most recent development, which is only a couple of weeks old now, with Transport Canada creating 2 exemptions to the requirements for an operating certificate for drones that weigh less than 2 kilograms and also between 2 kilograms and 25 kilograms. It does give us an opportunity to do the things that COPA has been pushing for many years, which is educating the public about what the limitations are on operating these things safely. When you can just go down to a local hobby store and buy a quadcopter and launch it up above the cloud to see what it looks like, a lot of those people are not doing that willfully. They just don't know that that is something that could endanger people's lives. So one of the positive outcomes of this exemption that they put in place is that it's going to help us all to educate the population on how to safely operate.
We also asked Kevin about Canada's privatized air traffic control system, NAV Canada, and what lessons it may have for the U.S. You can see that full interview on AOPAlive.org. And Kevin just announced his retirement from COPA. You can read more about his remarkable career on AOPA.org. Well, on a strong GA airport, you get to know your fellow aviators. One most of us in Frederick know happens to have 4 paws and, well, dog breath. Now he's got his own children's book series, though. Meet Turbo the Flying Dog. His pilot parents are based in Frederick, and he's become quite the fixture here on the field.
We discovered Turbo at a pet rescue in West Virginia in December of 2012. And it was a 4-hour drive, so we decided to go and fly and pick him up. At first I was a little weary about putting the puppy in the airplane right away, but as it turns out, it was a piece of cake and he loves to fly. He slept the whole flight home. Since then, Turbo has been all over the place by GA. Turbo has been as far south as the Bahamas, and he's also been to Canada, so he's checking off his states and his countries one at a time. Turbo's mom, Victoria Zyko, and her friend Kelly Kennedy have turned Turbo's story into a children's book. The children's book follows his real-life story. So you can read his series, learn how Turbo learns to fly, learn about his rescue, and then you can also see him actually flying in real life online and see his adventures. Turbo the Flying Dog has a Facebook page for you to see him in action, and the book is illustrated to draw kids of all ages into the world of general aviation. So many pilots are coming out asking about Turbo and meeting Turbo, but a lot of people who aren't familiar with general aviation are getting excited too because they see this dog flying everywhere and they think, wow, that's an interesting life, maybe I can do that. You can find the book on Amazon or at turbotheflyingdog.com. Might make a great Christmas present for the kids in your life. And our friends at Breitling have a present for you as well, the first American tour of the Breitling jet team. They'll be at air shows across the country next year, including Sun and Fun in Oshkosh, flying their signature L-39 Albatrosses. You can find the full schedule online at breitling-jet-team.com. When we come back, pilots in Congress and gold medals for CAP pilots. Welcome back. You're watching AOPA Live this week. Now, as we record this, the government is set to shut down in a little more than 12 hours. The prediction is that the House sometime Thursday will pass a $1.1 trillion bill to keep the government running until next October, but the Senate still has to vote on it before midnight Thursday. Stay tuned. And here's some good news out of Congress. There are going to be more pilots sitting on the aviation subcommittee and making decisions on aviation issues.
That on this subcommittee, on the full committee, we have members that have expertise. We have pilots on this subcommittee. And I think I've got them all down there. Congressman Graves is a pilot, Congressman Hanna. Scott Perry, Congressman Perry is a helicopter pilot, but a pilot. We're going to be joined next Congress by Congressman Merkita, who's a pilot, and our Congressman Jeff Denham, when he served in the Air Force, was an aircraft mechanic. And our counsel, Naveen Rao, is a pilot.
Also joining the committee is Representative Brian Babin, a pilot from Texas. And it's quite helpful, you know, to have a pilot's expertise when trying to convince regulators to do the right thing. And so AOPA President Mark Baker used his personal expertise to weigh in with a New York state agency considering banning seaplanes from Adirondack Park. Baker's a passionate seaplane pilot, and that's his Caravan on floats in the video, and he also has a Super Cub on floats. And he told the regulators that seaplanes have much less environmental impact than other motorized recreational vehicles. Even boats can erode shorelines, seaplanes don't. And they don't produce the constant noise of personal watercraft or power boats. Well, how'd you like to fly with Scooby-Doo or Bullwinkle or maybe Popeye? Well, here's your chance. You can fly with Full House actor and comedian Dave Coulier if you're the winning bidder on this item in the AOPA Foundation's silent auction.
Well, I wanted to give something back to aviation enthusiasts, and so I'm offering a ride with me in my Bonanza. And so people are bidding on this, so it's a really nice thing. I love taking people up for their first flights, and I know you've done that, lots of other pilots have, and being able to do that for someone and raise money for a good cause at the same time, it's fun, and it's everybody wins.
Yeah, it's a great deal. So in addition to a flight with you, they are going to get tickets to your show, right?
They get tickets to one of my stand-up shows. We're going to have lunch, so we'll fly somewhere where we can go and get a $100 cheeseburger somewhere, on me, of course. And then you can come backstage after the show. You can say, hey, that was a great show, Jeff Daniels. And then I'll say, wait a minute, I'm not Jeff Daniels. You came to see the Full House guy. And it's also a one-year membership in the AOPA, the Foundation's Hat and Ring Society.
Yes. Well, thank you, Jeff. I mean, Dave. You can find out more and check out some of the other items available in the Foundation's silent auction on our website. The auction closes at midnight on December 19th. Just click on AOPA Foundation in the upper right corner. Well, and finally this week, recognition that is 70 years overdue. AOPA Live's Paul Harrop introduces you to some of the World War II Civil Air Patrol members who now have the honor of the Congressional Gold Medal.
The Congressional Gold Medal represents the highest expression of the people's appreciation for distinguished achievements and contributions. The first recipient was General George Washington.
Today, we honor the World War II members of the Civil Air Patrol with the Congressional Gold Medal.
They served selflessly, often at their own expense. They used their own aircraft, first to spot German boats, and later to actually attack them.
They came from all walks of life, all ages, and all demographics, from titans of industry to 13-year-old girls like Carolyn Girton.
You played a pretty important role keeping the airplanes going.
Well, yeah, it wasn't that important.
Well, it sure was.
We just, we kept them clean and just odds and ends.
Don't let her humble nature fool you. Carolyn would learn to fly a plane 6 years before she learned to drive a car. She's been in the Civil Air Patrol for 73 years. Jane Sutton was a young girl in Oklahoma. After Pearl Harbor, she felt the same call as the boys, and CAP was her way to serve.
We all love America, and to be attacked by the Japanese, the whole world just in America just came together as one group. Everybody did everything they possibly could. And the Civil Patrol was one place where I could join and serve and feel like I was doing my part. Because at that time, they were not taking any women into any of the different groups, Army, Navy, or anything. So the Civil Patrol was open to us.
Now Jane and Carolyn and many others are getting the recognition they earned 7 decades ago.
Well, I just think it's wonderful that they finally recognize the members. I'm just sorry that so many of them have passed away that really deserved it and never got it.
Paul Harrop, AOPA Live.
Thanks, Paul. Truly greatest generation. Good to see credit given where it's due. 64 Civil Air Patrol members died during World War II, flying missions to serve our country. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you back here next Thursday. I'm Tom Haynes. See you then.